Hello and welcome to High Vibe Nation, the #1 positive media show focused on raising the vibe of the planet, a space for you to remember the power within you. It's a love revolution, and I am so enthused. This woman that I have coming on here today, she is a rock star. I mean, this girl is really taking leaps in all of our lives, in everyone's life. She is helping people to really tap in, tune on, and turn in to the power of who they are. So I am going to have her on in just a minute. Don't leave. Stay here because you want to be here to watch her. Stephanie Bellinger is coming on to this show, and you are going to love her. Here we go.
High Vibe Nation is live. Welcome to the High Vibe Nation, where we have set out to raise the vibration of every human being on the planet. Your hosts on this journey are Sherry Gideons, so let's join them now in their current interview with a high-vibing individual.
Awesome, everyone. Thank you for being here to this edition of High Vibe Nation. And today my guest is the amazing Stephanie Bellinger, who is the creator of Spiritual Boss Babe, the booming online community and podcast serving tens of thousands of spiritual entrepreneurial women around the world. Stephanie is a mindset and transformation coach, helping healers, coaches, and visionaries take a quantum leap into the next level of purpose, impact, and abundance. Her mission is to help people driven completely to transform their mindset, unlock their innate magic, and create a life and business that sets their soul on fire. She believes that together we can make a massive impact in the world and raise the vibration of the planet. Everyone, please help me welcome Stephanie Bellinger. Hello, darling.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Sherry.
Oh my gosh, girl, I've been so psyched about this all week. Just because for me, I mean, as you can tell, I'm definitely animated Sherry.
Which is awesome. I love your energy.
Oh, girl. Well, so I'm a firm believer, that it is all about high vibe and how to really stay in that over the top, playful out, real you. And that's what I love being, is the real me.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I always ask all of my guests this one question to start out with. So what does it mean to be high vibe to you?
To me, being high vibe is really just enjoying yourself and doing what lights you up and doing what brings you the most joy and excitement, having more fun in your everyday life. I also don't always view high vibe meaning that you need to feel amazing all the time,
right?
But making your vibration your #1 priority, meaning being there for yourself and giving yourself what you need in any given moment, is key and is really vital to you creating the life that you want. So that's what
I fully agree. Well, and I think it comes down so much to just having that willingness and that desire to be your best self, and to, be willing to look at yourself and, let go of all of these unwanted beliefs and these, what I like to call false illusions that aren't serving our lives. And it's time for us all to awaken and realize, we can create these lives that we deserve, that we're all worthy of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. Well, so start us out and tell us, lead us on a journey of, some really major pivotal points of your life and how you got to that point where you started asking yourself questions that really started to open you up and help you to awaken to what you do now.
Well, it's been quite the journey. I feel like I've lived many lifetimes since the start of my journey. I'm not sure which part to take you back to, but I guess I'll start with where it all started, really.
Please.
during one of the darkest times of my life, I was in a really abusive relationship from when I was 14 to 20. And during that time, I really had nowhere to turn but within. And it was 5 years of my life where I didn't even have any hope to live for quite some time. And I felt like I was stuck. And I really just reached this moment of knowing that if I don't do something for myself, if I don't step into my power, if I don't take control of my life, then I'm gonna not live very long, or it's gonna just be really, really not the life I want to live. So I started getting into health and fitness. I started getting into meditation. I was always into like spirit guides and working with energy since I was a teenager. And I ended up transforming my life from the inside out. I ended up losing 60 pounds. I left that toxic relationship, and I made a promise to myself that I was going to make the rest of my life the best of my life and do everything I'd ever dreamed of. And that was really where my motivation was born. And it really fueled me to keeping that commitment to myself and doing everything I ever set out to do. And that's what led me on this journey of creating a life and a business that sets my soul on fire and helping other people do the same. And it's been a long journey since then. There have been a lot of lessons and wisdom on the journey that led me to doing what I'm doing now, and really helping other spiritual entrepreneurial women just really take control of their life and step into their power and live life on their own terms. And so here we are. That was it in a nutshell. A very, very nutshell.
Well, and like so many of us, obviously we all go through struggles and challenges in our lives, and there becomes those moments where we start to ask questions. Like even with myself, I was asking, why am I here? What am I meant to do? If life is meant, for struggle and pain and setback, then I don't want to live that life anymore. I'm ready for something more and something different. Did you start to ask those questions of yourself?
Well, yeah, during that time, I remember literally saying, like, to God, higher power, whatever. I just remember saying, please take me when I'm sleeping. If help me get out of this hell, or just take me when I'm sleeping. Like, I did not even want to be here. And I knew that there was something more, though. There was a spark within me that was like, my soul was speaking to me, and I knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And I was very adamant about getting support from the spirit realm as well. I rely very much on that, because I have family in the spirit realm too. And they're, always looking after me. And that, and my higher self is what gave me the strength to, get clear on, maybe I should start taking better care of my body. So I should start working out. I should start changing my diet. Then I'll feel better. And, meditating. And I started getting into all these things and developing my practice back then that helped me gain the inner strength and the outer strength to walk away from that with ease. Whereas previously it would have been a lot harder. And then there have been other times in my life on the journey of feeling things come back up, like in the form of limiting beliefs or inner dialogue that wasn't actually mine, that was from that relationship or even past or whatever, that inspired me to look deeper within what I needed to heal and process and shift in order to truly be who I came here to be. And I knew that I wasn't being that full expression of myself for quite some time, because I had to peel away these layers and really uncover or remember who I am.
Yeah, no, I can fully relate with that. For our audience members who are just starting out, because a lot of this we call woo is new to people, and they're still struggling right now with those illusions, with those beliefs and opinions of others that, are the cause of the experiences that they're dealing with and addressing. What are some of the steps, the basic steps that they could use that you learned on your journey, right now at the very beginning? What are those steps?
Well, when I first started, the very first thing that really, really helped me was committing to a self-love ritual and meditation. And I didn't know like how to meditate or whatever. I just kind of made up my own little self-love ritual where when I was a teenager, I lit an incense and I lit like a pink candle, and I would do this like little like reflection of like what I loved about myself and like all of the amazing things about myself. And it really made me feel really good. And then after that, I would do a meditation, and I started meditating for at least 20 minutes every single day. Like I got really committed. I was like, I want to get really good at meditating. I want to really be able to quiet my mind and connect to my higher self and spirit. And meditation is actually what really, really helped me hear my inner voice of the soul versus the inner critic or the voices that are not, of my highest good. So I started hearing the voice of of inspiration. You could do this. You got this. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like start making these little changes. And so I would say meditation and some kind of self-love ritual, something. I'm very, very big into mirror work now. It wasn't something I did in the very beginning, but it's something that is a huge part of my practice now. And I think it's the most powerful thing in the world of, I teach about the 4 M's, and it's music, movement, mantras, and mirror work. And that's like the best, most fun self-love, embodiment ritual where I will say, I'll put on a pump up song that I love. I'll get my body moving. I'll be looking in the mirror and allowing myself to like just embody like the energy that I want to embody that day. And I'll say things. And sometimes they're not always just mantras. Sometimes it's just, it's whatever I want to say to myself, whatever I need to hear that day. And sometimes I get really ridiculous with it and fun with it. But the combination of the music and seeing myself and like feeling it in my physiology and hearing myself say things, it's like using all of the senses as well, is really, really, really powerful. It's one of my favorite things. And I highly recommend that. And it's super fun.
Girl, you and I are in such alignment because I call it my 60-second blast. So I get up in the morning and I do, and my viewers who watch all the time, they know how over the top I am. And so I stand in the mirror naked and I literally start with this big monstrous smile. And one of my anchors from NLP is a sugar boomy boom boom. That one, I mean, as silly and crazy and fun as it is, that one little thing for me, like I can just doing it right now, I can feel this like blast of high vibe come up through me, but it brings out the little girl in Sherry. And then I look at myself in the mirror and I love your eyes. Your eyes are so beautiful. And I love your smile and your fun, silly little girl self. And, and then I'll go to, I love your stomach and your hips and your curves and the same thing like you and the dance. And, and I'm my kids. So I have a winter crop and a summer crop of kids. And I have twins that are almost 17 and they're like, Mom, who are you talking to? It's so freaking funny. But I just love what you're sharing with this audience today. I mean, I'm sure everybody's just digging your vibe and they're just like, whoa, this is really cool. But one thing I love so much about you is that you've created this business. You've created this company that has set your soul on fire. And what it does is it's a mirror to everybody that's in your community and continues to attract more and more women that are now really beginning to tap into that in themselves. And you talk about, I've watched you a million times, you talk about how you got better and better at asking questions. Like I read that some of your questions you said are, what do I really want? And why? And why is that important to me? And, what would be the most fun, easeful and aligned way to go about creating what I desire in both my life and my business.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both know the quality of questions you ask yourself determines the quality of life you live.
Oh, yeah.
And so can you share some of those better and better questions that people in our audience could ask themselves to get clear?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I like sharing is, how it's easy for a lot of people to go, well, what if this happens? Or what if I fail? Or what if it doesn't work out? I love flipping the what if into a powerful, positive what if. And that's the easiest way to do it. Like, I'll just flip it around to, well, what if I do succeed? What if I, sell out my program and have, this amount of money coming in? Or, what if it works out better than I could have ever imagined? What would that look like? And I start to do the empowering what if questions and let it flow from there. That is the easiest formula of asking better questions, in my opinion, is to flip those negative what ifs into more empowering what if questions and allow your imagination to flow. And because your imagination is what we use for creation, right? The imagination is the language of the unconscious mind and what we create with. So use better questions with empowering what ifs. What if it does work out? What would it look like if it were super fun and easy and in flow? And really just know that, your dialogue inside and out is so important and is what has the ability to create your experience. And so it's really important to be mindful of not just the things that you say to yourself and the questions you ask, but also the actions you take that are in alignment with that stuff, or the inaction. Because if you are asking yourself crappy questions that don't feel empowering to you, then it's going to get you into a crappy state that doesn't feel good to you. And when you're in that unresourceful state, then you're not going to take the aligned actions that will actually get you what you want, because you're asking the wrong questions, you're feeling crappy about it, not resourceful. So you're going to either procrastinate or not take action, or maybe even take too much action where you're trying to do 1,000,001 things. And so, like Sherry, like how you said, the quality of your questions is everything. And also the things that you say inside, the things that you are, the pictures and the things that you're saying to yourself determine your state, which determines the results that you get and the actions that you're taking. And so it's take responsibility for your creation in this reality. Take responsibility for your life. And from that place, you're empowered. And it feels a lot more empowering and easy to make shit happen.
Yeah, and one of the things that jazzes me up about you is that you talk about, you threw out all the rules. You threw away all the rules, even to the point where you just love using the F word. Like, I love using the F word too. And I just love how, you do it unapologetically. Like, this is me, this is who I am, and this is what jazzes me and other people up. And you share that. And I love what you just said about, hustling and all of that and taking aligned action. What is the difference between what we call hustle and massive action to create success, and what we would call a lot as inspired, aligned quantum success?
Well, I used to be one to hustle all the time. I used to live in New York City, so the vibe there is a hustle vibe. And I actually used to pride myself in hustling. I was like, I'm, and I still look back and I'm like, you know what? I really did hustle a lot. And I learned a lot of stuff from the hustle. And it also taught me later on that I actually don't need to do that in order to succeed. So to me now, hustling feels like just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. It's more doing than being, and it can sometimes feel forceful. So, but the key is it's more doing than being. Whereas taking aligned and inspired action is taking action from the place of being. And I'll explain that in a second. And the same thing with the creating quantum success is you're actually doing less and you're seeing more things shift in your reality because you're focused, or you're focused on the being and the embodiment. Because when what matters most is who you are being when you are doing the things, not doing the things. It's who you are being when you are doing the things. And what I mean by this is your state of being, how you are feeling when you're showing up, your state of being, and also like the embodiment piece of like how you're showing up in your life for yourself, and allowing that to trickle into what it is that you do. Like my best ideas come from not when I'm doing things, they come from when I'm being. And I'm sure people listening can relate to this. Like, have you ever just been having fun, or, doing something totally, you're just in the moment, you're just super present, you're not thinking about anything, and the best ideas come to you, or you have like this download or this inspiration or this idea to go somewhere, to do something. That's the aligned action that can come from just being present, really.
Wow. There's so much truth to that, girl. Keep on talking.
Yeah, like that. It took me a while to learn that. Because like I said, I would hustle all the time, and hustling did get me far. I learned a lot of lessons. I had a lot of experiences. I lived many lifetimes. And then I realized, oh, wait, this is when I started asking myself the better question of, okay, what would this look like if I just did it in the way that I really want to do it, in a way that feels really easy and fun, and, that's it. Like, I was scared to kind of take that leap because it kind of went against logic and what we're told and taught. Mm-hmm. In many ways. In my business, I'm speaking specifically, like, there was a time when I just was like, I don't want to launch things this way anymore. I want to just show up and channel and have that be enough, and like have, call in the right people. And it really shifted a lot for me when I surrendered into the being in the present moment of what is lighting me up right now. What do I feel really called to share, and also what am I doing for myself in my daily life that is in alignment with the excitement that I want to translate into my business. Because it's not just about being behind a laptop and doing stuff and being excited to share. That's one piece, but like if I'm not getting in that energy by myself in my own life without just for me, then it's going to be a little more challenging for that to translate in my business. I don't know if I'm getting a little off tangent here, but
no, I absolutely love what you're sharing, because it brought up a couple thoughts that even like when I'm working with new clients and they're dealing with, the resistance, and they're dealing with the attachment to the outcome. And they're talking about, you say that I have to be from this state, from the feelings that I would be from, as if it has already happened now. And it's building that muscle of awareness in the present throughout today. What are some ways that you do that?
I think the easiest is, and I know this might sound cliche because a lot of people talk about gratitude, but you know what? Gratitude brings you to the present moment like that. Like nothing brings you to the present moment faster than gratitude, in my personal opinion. And this is more than just making a freaking gratitude list or saying, oh, I'm so grateful. No, like when I get into gratitude, I go deeper, like to like as the littlest things that seem little, but sometimes I forget, with where I am like, wow, like I'm so grateful I could take a nap on a Wednesday afternoon and I have no one to answer to, or no, you know what I mean? Like, or if I'm on like a vacation, same thing. Like I'm so grateful that I get to just be living my life like this. I'm so grateful that it's amazing out. I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm so grateful that I have a reliable car to drive. I'm so grateful that I have the money to pay my bills, to support my electricity. I mean, anything. I'm so grateful for all of the humans and that contributed to the fresh food that I have, to preparing it, whatever. Like, um, gratitude, I take it to that level, but I also like really feel it. Like I take a moment to really feel it. A lot of times, almost like once a week at least, I get really emotional with gratitude and I let it take over me. And I just, when I get to that point, it's usually just, I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be able to experience life. And like, life is pretty short and like, at the grand scheme of things. And so I'm grateful that I have this time here to be myself and to do the things that I love. And I think that is the easiest way to get into the present moment and the embodiment piece. And secondly, it's a choice, and for me, dancing and movement too is the fastest and easiest way to shift your vibe and get you into the present and embodiment. And I know that it can sound, I've been there, so I remember, and when I have stuff come up, I feel like this. I know that it can seem like, well, how can I be it when all this stuff is happening in my reality right now, and the manifestation hasn't shown up yet, and how can I possibly, be that version of me? And it's not necessarily about like fully being that end. It's more about the feeling,
Yeah.
like, and at least committing to connecting with that feeling, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. It doesn't need to be the whole day, but at least if it's a commitment for, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something where you connect to that feeling and that vibration. We're allowed to have a range of emotions in the same day and we can still manifest awesome things. So, but connecting to that, even if it's for a little bit, will really, really help. And you can do that so simply by, by visualization. By visualization can connect you to the feeling, or you can get clear about what would it feel like when I have XYZ, or when I'm experiencing whatever. What would it feel like? And then say the answer is, oh, it would feel really exciting. Then you can literally think of a time in the past when you felt really, really, really excited. And you can bring yourself in that moment because you already experienced it in the past physically. And you can see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, and really get back into that state of excitement. And you can do that just getting yourself into a state anytime you want. So those are a couple things.
Love that. It's so funny that you bring that up because I do that with this. We used to go every summer to Lake Tahoe in Nevada, and it's this amazing, monstrous lake, and the water is crystal clear. You can drink the water. You can see the ground in the lake. And we used to go to this place called Zephyr Cove, and just listening to you describe it, or you describe how to get there, just took me to that place right now. And I just felt this feeling, this heart feeling come up inside me. And I love how you're sharing about gratitude because that's part of my morning ritual. And so I write, like I'll literally start out my sentences. I'm so happy and grateful now that, like recently, now that I have an amazing team of people that are, putting me out on social media all over the place, that are creating all my little snippets of video, and that we have so much fun and we love each other. And literally, I got this amazing social media manager now. I have a new VA. I mean, but when I'm writing it, it's tapping me into my heart. It's tapping me into the feelings. And then, like you're saying, when I shut my gratitude book, I let go of the outcome. I just am in the state of allowing, knowing that it's only saying yes. And I'd love to talk about the divine feminine because I know that you're big on the divine feminine. and the divine. Can you tell the audience a little bit about, what is the divine feminine? What's the difference between masculine and, divine feminine, and how can we access that in a way that really supports us?
Yeah, I used to be way more in my masculine when I was in doing mode and creating the foundation for my business, essentially, and all of that. I'm really the feminine flow is what it is what I have shifted into in my life and in my business. And it is the more of allowing and receiving and being and sitting back to actually receive the things that you desire in life. And really just it's the flow state. It's the flow state. That's how I describe it.
I love how you describe it. It reminds me of, so when COVID just happened, I met this amazing man who, the way he described the flow state for me is, he said, just imagine yourself as a leaf on the top of the water. And the leaf, it's not struggling. It's just flowing, and it's flowing. Sometimes it'll go under the water and come back up. And it's just flowing, he said, on the river with ease and grace, up and down, up and down. And he says that you're just the leaf. He said, just be the leaf, flowing. And it was such a great description, because I recognize that for myself now. And even like with so many people out there right now who want to do what you've done. I mean, spiritual, give me a break. Spiritual boss babes. I mean, or babe, what a name. I mean, that's so attractive and so powerful.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, tell us about how the idea came, and then take us through the process of, when you were just getting started and you didn't have really anything, and then you built it to where you are.
Well, it's funny that you asked the question after the feminine masculine energy thing, because like that is what I feel when I think of spiritual boss babe. When I say spiritual boss babe, it's like the spiritual and the flowy and the boss babe. I'm gonna get shit done. So it's like the feminine masculine energy are in that. That's the way that I feel about it, and that's why I love the name of my brand, because it takes both those elements, because we need both, right? Yeah, we want to be in flow and be magnetic and be in our, because I mostly serve, women. So we want to be in our flow and the magnetism and the ease and the, let our intuition guide us. And we also need the structure and the alignment and to get things done. So both, because we're creating a business in the 3D world here. we're bringing the esoteric stuff and the intuition and the channeling into the 3D and creating a business and doing our mission work and helping people and also receiving money and, all the things. And so that's what really inspired the name. Actually, it's funny because before Spiritual Boss Babe, I was the Fit Girl Boss. And that was my old brand. When I did my fitness business, I did a lot of personal training and had a boot camp and did network marketing. And then I shifted into mindset success coaching. And actually, I have done a lot of work with psychedelics over the last 6 or 7 years that have really supported me on my healing and expansion journey. And honestly, a lot of the inspiration for my brand and my business and the name has been inspired from that work with plant medicine. And I was just inspired one day to bring people together that were like me, that were on a spiritual awakening journey, that wanted to live out their purpose, that felt pretty different from normal people. And we're kind of like, because we kind of just felt lonely and kind of different and wanted a community. So I created that community that I always wanted. And then that's kind of how it started. And I started just supporting people with things that I've learned on my journey of like how to shift your mindset to create success, how to get your message out, how to build confidence to share your message, and all these things. And it just kind of snowballed and blew up. My community blew up after the first year. It started just going crazy, and now it's shifting even more as I evolve in my message and mission, which is still the same at the core, which is helping people create their reality. That's like the core of everything I do, is helping people create their reality. And the way that I do it through, okay, here's how to create the business that you love. All right, here's how to get your mindset in order so that your beliefs support what you want to create in your reality. Okay, here's the energetics and the vibrations so those are the vehicles that I support people with in creating their reality and essentially just being themselves. And it's been inspired by my own journey and my own experiences and my own ups and downs and setbacks and struggles, and also my spirit team that is really wanting to come through more than ever lately, that has been supporting me in sharing the stuff that I do. I didn't always know that, but it's been a lot more clear.
I love how you share that, because that's really been the process of my own journey. Is when my mentor, who's been my mentor for 20 years, used to always say to me, Sherry, hit the pillow, get still, because she would say all the time, when I get still, then I channel, then my spirit team comes through and they deliver to me amazing insights and creations and stuff like that. And I love how you talk about how you were feeling a lack of motivation and a standstill in your business, and that so much of this journey for you is now about taking quantum leaps. So how were you able to really bring your business from one level to where it is now? What kind of steps, what kind of quantum leaps that maybe our audience members are asking and wanting to know, who are, just starting out?
Well, I think that it was a combination of a lot of things. There were different quantum leaps that I've experienced, in my business. And it wasn't always just financially. Sometimes it was like the growth of my community. That was like the first quantum leap. Then it was like filling out a high level mastermind and quantum leaping my income. And then it was just like, it was different quantum leaps. But what I would say is that the embodiment piece was number one. And I even did this when I grew my Facebook group, when I grew my community at first, when I didn't I had unconscious competence. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but now I do. And I was showing up as if there were already tens of thousands of people in my community. And I didn't care if there was only a couple hundred in the beginning. I just was showing up and preaching to whoever would listen and thinking of ways of, well, how can I make this something where people want to tell their friends and they want to come back and hear more and connect with each other. And so it was the embodiment piece of being that, and well, what does that feel like? What does that look like? One of my more recent ones was what is it? Last year. I mean, I'm always quantum leaping, but last year I declared that I was going to have my easiest, most effortless, biggest income month. And I was going to call in pay in full clients. And then I was going to move into a house from my 1-bedroom apartment. And I did it in a month. But the thing is, I was so relentlessly just committed to the vibration of, even if it doesn't happen, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
I am really excited, period. I'm really excited thinking about it. So it was kind of detaching from the outcome and staying in the excitement. Who cares about when or how? All you got to know is what you want and why you want it and how it makes you feel, but you don't need all the other details. So it was just staying committed to the feeling of it. And also another thing is I got really good at was even when disempowering thoughts come up, choosing to not go there, and not in like brush it under the rug. I'm not saying that, but there are certain times where there are thoughts or worries that are just patterns. They're just patterns that you can just break by saying, you know what? I'm like, for example, there was one time when I was going through a different up level. This was a couple years or 3 years ago. I don't know how, I don't even know what time, but a couple years ago, maybe a little bit more, I was going through this phase of, really tired of worrying about money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm tired of this. This isn't even resonant to what I believe or what I say I believe. And all the things I know about manifestation, like this doesn't even resonate. And I found myself like worrying about taxes and, going into these little worries of, well, what if this happens? Or what if I can't pay for this? Or what if I don't make enough money that I want? And it was just so ridiculous where I just decided I'm not even going to fucking enter. I'm sorry. I don't even ask you if I could curse on here.
No, I don't care. I mean, I want you to be yourself, girl. That's what I love the most about you.
Okay. Sorry. I totally should have asked. Anyway, so I just decided like, I'm not even going to go there. Why am I going to give energy to that? And I just reminded myself, I am not my thoughts. I'm not my beliefs. I'm not these things. I'm the one experiencing them. I'm the being that's thinking these things, but I'm not actually them. And so I decided that I'm not going to give any energy to disempowering thoughts because I'm here in the present moment. The stuff that I'm worrying about hasn't even happened.
Yep.
And then I just reminded myself of fear and faith have one thing in common. That quote, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's one of my faves. Fear and faith have one thing in common. I don't remember who the quote's by, but they have one thing in common. They both require us to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. So which one do you choose? So that was super powerful for me of choosing faith and the thing that I want and taking my power back of these thoughts on repeat. Like, no, I'm not going to give my power away to these ridiculous worries that are not changing anything at all. And I think that for anyone listening, like that in and of itself is a really powerful reminder, period. If you're able to, snap yourself out of it in the moment and say, hey, wait a minute, like this thing that I'm worrying about isn't actually happening right now. It's something that I'm worrying about happening. So I'm basically praying for something I don't want by worrying about it. So I'm going to actually zoom out and bring myself back to this present moment and refocus my energy on what it is I do want. And that will help you embody.
Oh, powerful, girl. Oh my God. You know what you just made me think of? So I studied with a shaman in the 90s. And so the shaman taught me about how to integrate in soul parts because we're existing in simultaneous dimensions, simultaneous lifetimes, all right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And so the shaman taught me, well, obviously with plant medicine as well, but actually how to go into those worlds and those dimensions that soul part is ready to be integrated back in. And so in the moment when you become the observer without emotional attachment and you actually think that part of it yourself that's revealing itself to you, and you just, I do this process, it's called the uncurving. And because energy moves through all the chakras, if there's energy that's stuck maybe in the sacral, because it's happening with your inner world or what's going on, with the people around you and stuff like that, that we call that Christ consciousness energy, like total embodiment energy that you can pull all the way up to the crown chakra. And so I will look at the energy, like literally if it's person, place, or thing, I'll look at the energy and I'll say, I know your real name. You are love. Return to your original position. Go upward, because when the energy is coming up, those limited beliefs, those conditioned behaviors, I call it the green energy, and it's almost like a block that wants to stop the arrow of pure energy coming up through the chakras. And I'll tell it, I am so grateful that you are ready to be integrated.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you're sharing. One of the things that you've said that I listened to you on, I can't remember if it was an Instagram or it might have been an Instagram, because I watch a lot of your videos on Instagram, and you were talking about, because I love how you bring up quantum leap for, so much of the work that you do, and that you were taking a quantum leap and you jump into a totally different timeline. And you see things shift rapidly when you do that. Could you explain a little bit, what is a timeline when you're jumping into a new timeline?
Yeah. So as you were kind of saying, like everything is existing simultaneously, like the past, present, future, it's all happening now. There's only ever now. And there's also infinite possibilities and infinite realities that exist now. And so when it comes to making a quantum leap or jumping into a different timeline, it's literally that of jumping into a different reality where it's not going to seem different to you. But when you make so I like to use, I'm trying to see if I have like something I can, for people watching the video. So
Yeah.
like say you have a string. This is my bracelet from Peru. So say this is your timeline, and right here, let's bring my hands closer. And right here is like where you are now, and right here is where you want to go. Or wait, we're on this camera's flip-flopped, I guess. So
Yeah.
this is where you are, and this is where you want to go.
Okay.
And so when you are like continuing to embody and choose that vibration that is aligned with where you want to go, and you just choose and choose and choose on a daily, you're going to end up essentially like folding that timeline, collapsing that timeline, and bringing that end result closer to the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like something that you might think would take like a year from now could take a month or, less. That's why you see people, I can't even talk. You hear people that quantum leap their income. You hear Bob Proctor talk about this a lot, where he's like, oh, you can make your yearly income, your monthly income.
Monthly.
And, that's a quantum leap. So you can jump into a different reality, which is really what we're doing all the time anyway, without realizing it. Every decision you make, it's just, but these bigger shifts are more noticeable. And this is when you feel different. You feel like a different person. Maybe even people in your life are treating you differently because you're different. Maybe you're seeing new opportunities come out of nowhere, clients coming out, like just things are starting to happen because it's aligned with your vibrational frequency that you've been emitting, and you continue to choose to, no matter what's happening in your reality, you continue. And doesn't mean to all the time, again, just your dominant vibration. Like, so if you have a bad day, you're not going to screw it up. You're human. You're allowed to have that. And when you have the commitment to your self-care, your self-love, embodiment, and your dominant vibration, it's going to collapse the time, and you're going to enter the timeline of your choosing. And you're going to continue doing that as you master this, and as you master creating your reality. It's essentially, well, what do I want to experience? Like, what do I want to experience? And even ask yourself that every day. Like, I like setting my intentions for the day too. Like, what do I want to experience today? Today is going to be an amazing day. Today is an amazing day. Today was a really productive day. Today was a really fun day. I met so many amazing people today. Like, I'll set like intentions for like the day as well, and just kind of have fun with it. When it comes to the quantum leaping and the timeline jumping, I like to have fun with it and kind of play a game. Like, I'll set intentions, I'll say things, and I'll ask for very specific signs too. And I love seeing like the signs show up, because it's like just a reminder of like, oh, well, I'm creating this, duh. So yeah, I'm showing myself these signs. Or yeah, like I'll ask for really out there signs. Like one time, not that long ago, I asked my higher self and spirit guides, I said, all right, show me a purple octopus in the next 24 hours if this is aligned or something like that. And I swear to God, the same night I was scrolling, and randomly I saw a picture with some guy, and there was a purple octopus light on top of a restaurant behind him. And I was like, no effing way. Like, really? And then I ended up seeing purple octopus like 5 more times in the same week.
I love it. You know, it reminds me of, okay, so when I had my near-death experience and I was shown all of the purposes that Sherry came here for, and I was first experiencing the contrast, like walking homeless on the streets, gaining 100 pounds. But one of the things that had been said to me is I never had to worry, that all the right people would show up at the right moment to help me move forward, and that you being in my moment, me being in your moment, we actually already agreed to this before we ever came into the body. And so I'm standing on a street and I am asking, you know, why am I experiencing hell? And basically I look up in that very moment, and in Venice Beach is this huge sign, and the wall says, "You have not been forgotten. You can make a difference."
Wow.
Another time I'm driving down the road and I'm asking, you know, why is it that people always say I'm too over the top? Why is it that people say that I'm too animated? And I see a street sign on the, you know, big old huge sign on the side of the freeway, and it says, "You do you."
I've seen signs like that too. Those are the best. Like when you're thinking something and then I'll see like a billboard and I'm like, oh, whoa. Or it'll be one word from one and then another word from another. And I'm like, this is interesting.
I dig it. I dig it. Now I want to make sure that you're clear. So everybody, the people who are just starting out on their journey, you've talked so many times using the word embodiment. Can you explain, break that down? What is embodiment? So people know that, you know, they're understanding that for themselves.
To me, the way that I explain embodiment is really like, it's like on each plane, like you're working on your belief systems, but you're also living it and feeling it in your body and like showing up for yourself and in your life in that being state, right? So like I like to use the example of like when I started showing up on videos at first, I was really nervous and really self-conscious, and there were a lot of things that were going on in my head, and I had to quiet that chatter and still work through it at that time, and decided to just really like what would it feel like to just show up in my confidence and know that action builds confidence and crushes fear. And that's one quote that I love sharing with people all the time when it comes to the embodiment piece, embodying your next level self in the now. The more you get clear about, well, what does that look like and feel like, and let your imagination and take you there, and let yourself try it on in the way that you wait. How do you walk into the room? How does that next level you walk into the room? What does she wear? Does she change her style? How does her space look? And start to bring some of that stuff into your physical, and know the more that you bring it into the physical with the way that you feel, the way that you walk, the way that you move, the way that you talk, the way that you dress, the way that you live your life, and the things that you live by, being in integrity with the things that you're, doing. The more you do that, I mean, embodiment is when it just becomes who you be. It's just who you be, it's not something that you even need to think about. It's just who you are. So a lot of the things that I've learned on my journey have become embodied. It's not even something I think about anymore. There are still things I do, totally. And I'm always growing, of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I've learned up until this point have become embodied. I don't always think to do XYZ steps to shift my mindset. I just, do it. So the more you do it, the more embodied and ingrained it's going to be into your cells. And also, the more you take action, the more confidence you'll build, because action builds confidence and crushes fear. So
nice. I liken that to setting the intention to go to the gym today. And that I know when I go to the gym that in the beginning, I might be weak and I might be tired and not have a whole lot of energy. But as I keep setting that intention to go back and back, what's happening is I'm strengthening that muscle. And it's the same thing for me. I mean, just everything you've described. I mean, 24 years of being on this awakened journey now, and very much like yourself, sometimes it's hard to remember those pieces of ourselves because we've been on this journey for so long now of living and being from the state of awareness where we just know that in the moment, what is it I really want? I can reach for what I really want in every second and every moment, in every, hour of today. And so I love how you broke that down. I wanted to ask so that you can leave our audience with, what are 3 things that you want our audience to leave with today?
Like 3 things for them to know. That you can absolutely do anything that you desire, anything that your heart desires. You could be, do, and have anything that you desire. That's number 1. I mean, that's why I believe we came to this planet to experience everything that we want. Number 2, savor the journey, because there's so much lessons and wisdom on the journey. It's not about getting to where you want to go, actually, because we never really get there. There's no there. So savor the journey and just be grateful for all of the experiences and wisdom that you're gaining along the way. And the last thing is that you all have a special message and gift to share with the world. And I truly believe that, we all have a really powerful message and gift to share with the world. And that is really just you being you. And so it really always comes back to you being you. And, your message it's like a culmination of your life experiences and who you have become. And so, keep following your soul and what you're feeling pulled to do, because that's what's going to lead you to the ultimate fulfillment, success, abundance, and everything you could ever imagine in your life. So,
I love it, girl. Holy mackerel. This has been this hour went by really quickly, because just so many golden nuggets. And that's why I just kept coming at you with, all the little intricate questions that, because you and I both know this is the Great Awakening. This is the time of the Great Awakening. And there's so many people that are just beginning. I mean, you and I are here right now in this time to be able to share these tips, these solutions, these ways of being for people to really tap in and be from that highest self. And so I knew I was coming at you today with some really, really awesome questions, just because of what I've been able to hear you share with your community and grow your community. So thank you so much for, everything you've shared today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sherry, for having me and for asking amazing questions and allowing me to share with your audience.
Yeah. So tell our audience members how they can contact you, how they can reach out to you. And I'm putting your thing up here.
Yeah. So I'm mostly on Instagram these days. And that is at The Spiritual Boss Babe. I also have a really amazing Facebook community, Spiritual Boss Babes, and a podcast, same thing.
Tell them your web address.
And the website, you can find everything at spiritualbossbabe.com. Super easy.
And then your Instagram at thankfully we can play, huh?
Yeah.
The
Spiritual Boss Babe.
Do I got it right now?
Yes. Yay.
Nothing like doing it live online. I forgot to put those so we can at least have them up on the screen for the people who are viewing it. But on the podcast, obviously we want to be able to hear you say it.
Yeah. Yep. So Instagram at The Spiritual Boss Babe, everything else, spiritualbossbabe.com. You'll find all things there, my programs, my podcast community. We're actually doing a full rebrand in now. So the site is going to be completely up-leveled in a few weeks, which I'm super pumped about.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much, sweetheart. I mean, everything you've shared today has just been liquid gold. So thank you. And I appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, awesome. And for those of you who are the audience members who are always here weekly, I want to thank you so much. I mean, you are what makes this show what it is. And you can find me at thehighvibenation.com. You can find me on Instagram at The High Vibe Nation. And you can find me on Facebook at The High Vibe Nation. Thank you so much. And until next week, please create an amazing week. Bye now.
From everybody here at the High Vibe Nation, we want to say thank you for choosing to raise your vibration. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe. If you need to find us on the web, check us out at www.uncurving.com.